Hi guys, and welcome to the Rochdale vs Sunderland match preview. So, of course, tomorrow night, Tuesday night, Sunderland do go to Rochdale, coming off the back of a 3-1 defeat to Portsmouth. Now, I will briefly touch on that game. I know I did tell you guys across social media that I wasn't going to do a match review for the game against Portsmouth because I was at work, which I was. But I did actually manage to catch a good 60-70% of the game, all throughout the game, just on and off, which I didn't expect I was going to be able to do that, but I did. So, of course, I'm not going to sit and do a full match review on the game, but we were very poor, particularly in the first half, defensively all over the shot, and, you know, we had no form of creativity on the ball. We were very sort of blasé, giving the ball away, and defensively, like I say, we were so bad, which was shocking to see. And Grant Ledbetter as well. He didn't have a great game, but Portsmouth figured out where the heart and the base of our attacks were coming from, and it always, and it has done over the last 3 games, should I say, or 3-4 games. It's always started with Grant Ledbetter, and that's why he's been getting man of the match after man of the match after man of the match, because he's been absolutely fantastic. But they throttled him in that game. The second he got anywhere near the ball, he had a good 2, sometimes 3 Pompey players surrounding him, and we couldn't hack that high press. And this season, it was strange because last season we did have to deal with the opposition with the high press a lot, and we struggled with it. And we haven't really seen it as much this season. We've seen it in tiny little spits and spurts from oppositions, but Pompey had that high press throughout the entire game, and we could not handle it. If we just had a bit more composure on the ball, and we could play nice little quick triangles, precise, accurate passes, and quickly, we'd be fine. But because we were so blasé with our passing, Ledbetter's pass that gave away the second goal is it explains exactly what I'm talking about. He was just very blasé, and just passed it straight to a Pompey attacker, which just completely undone us. We were too slow in that game. We were just very, very poor. And I think in the second half we were considerably better, but we were just so toothless. And it was almost like we were scared to shoot. We were probably a little bit unlucky at times with the way the ball didn't quite fall to us when putting balls in the box. But you know, I'm not making an excuse for lads, because we were poor on the whole. We were really, really poor, and I'm hoping that is just a reality check, and then we can bounce back quickly. You know, because I don't expect us to go unbeaten the whole season. And the way I've seen some people react after that game, you'd think we're on the brink of relegation. Don't get me wrong, I was fuming after seeing the way we did perform, because, like I say, it was garbage. It was absolute garbage. Now, going on to this game and moving into this game, one thing I do want to quickly address is that I've seen a lot of people say, you know, we need to change the whole squad up like loads. And of course, 09 did get sent off anyway, so we have to change somewhat. But people are calling for Grant Ledbetter to give him a rest because of his age. And I'm not going to lie, you know, you may agree with me, but I don't buy that. Yeah, he played poor the other night, and people, I think it's such a cop-out excuse to say, you know, oh, he's lost his legs, you know, give him a rest. And you can work it the other way around, because when young players come through, people say, you know, don't play him week in, week out. You know, you don't want to ruin him. And then it's exactly the same with older people. I think it's almost belittling and patronising of Grant Ledbetter, because Ledbetter is a very, very fit man, regardless of what you think. Just because he's got a number as his age, and it's quite a higher number than the rest, it doesn't go against how fit the lad is, because he's a very fit lad, and in the role that he plays, he doesn't even have to do that much running. Of course, there's some running involved, but it's the other 2 lads, for example, the other night, Power and Scouting, if they do their jobs correctly, Grant shouldn't be having to do that running. And they really, for Grant, he sits in that role, he pulls back, picks the ball off the defenders, off our back 3, our back line, and he begins the attack from there, and that's how it works. We were just tactically figured out, and very easily, against Pompey. I, for me personally, you know, Grant on social media is acknowledged his mistake. He knows it was a mistake, and he didn't have the greatest of games. But for me, I would chuck Grant Ledbetter straight back in there, because I know what the kind of player Grant's like, and the kind of person Grant's like. He's going to want to go straight back out there and rectify his mistake. And I don't think, because of one bad performance, we can all of a sudden call the legs card, oh, he was shattered, he was this, that, and the other. I don't think that's fair at all, personally, in my opinion. I would personally, again, you might disagree with me, but I'd chuck him straight back out there, put him in that holding role, because none of our other players can play that role. A lot of people have called for Dobson. Maybe, yeah, you can put him in that position, but he will not play, never in a million years, he will never play that role as well, or nearly as well, or to the level and standard that Grant Ledbetter can play it. Yeah, Rochdale at lesser opposition, you might think, you know, we should maybe chop and change a little bit, swap things around because of the defeat on Saturday, but Grant Ledbetter in particular, I would stick him straight back in there, allow him the opportunity to rectify his mistake, because it'll just shatter his confidence if, you know, he's played so good for like sort of 3 or 4 games where he was brilliant, outstanding. It wasn't just like he was played decent, he played outstanding, and he puts one foot wrong and then he gets dropped. I think that's poor. I don't think we should be doing that. Grant Ledbetter, for me, will start, or should start, tomorrow night. But now we'll look on to Rochdale. Now Rochdale are actually in a decent run of form. They've won the last couple of games. They beat Shrewsbury away from home, 2-1. Then before that, they beat Burton away from home as well by a 1-0. Although the game before that, they did lose 3-0 to Hull City, who of course right up there at the moment. They also lost to Accrington Stanley before that, 2-1. But they did beat Fleetwood, who of course have very inconsistent form at the minute, but you know they are still a very decent side. They lost to Ipswich 2-0. They drew with Portsmouth 0-0. So they are a decent team. They're not a team to underestimate, but it shows right here how inconsistent they've been. But they will be flying high. They'll be very confident after winning the last couple of games. But I am confident if we just pull ourselves together, just deem the Pompey game as a blip, and hopefully it is just a blip, and we go forward and we go at them with confidence. Hopefully it hasn't shaken us up too much, the Pompey result. If we go at them, I think we should, technically come away with a comfortable win. You would think, and I would hope anyway. But I'm going to go into my preferred lineup for this game. So in goal, I have Lee Burgeon. Across the back three, we have Flanagan, who arguably should have started the other night or the other day against Pompey. There was a lot of fans, including myself, although I can marginally understand why Parkinson did stick with 09 after playing well in that left centre-back position over the previous couple of games. He was completely just undone against Pompey, and he did look a little bit shaky positionally. His positional awareness was clearly not 100% 09, which again is understandable because it isn't his natural position. And when you've got someone who naturally plays there, it is quite baffling that Parkinson decided to put 09 there. But in this starting 11, I go with Flanagan, Bailey Wright and Jordan Willis. Now on the wings, or on the wing back position, should I say, we have Denver Hume and Gooch. Now I could have easily gone for McLaughlin where Gooch is, but I feel like Gooch, before the Pompey game, he looked like he was coming into his own a little bit, and I think just to let him loose an attack against Rochdale, I think that's probably for the best. Now, I would remain with Scowen in there, who did come under a bit of criticism, but I do really, really like Scowen. I think he had an off game, as did many of the players against Pompey, but I would drop Max Power and put Scowen in there with Maguire in that midfield trio as well. Of course, when defending, Scowen will drop back and sit with Ledbetter, and Maguire will have that free roaming role in behind the strikers. And as you can see, I've done this again. I want Grigg to be up top, but this time with Charlie White. The last time I did a preferred lineup, I wanted to see Graham with Grigg, which, to be fair, I do still want to see, don't get me wrong, but White has scored 2 goals in 3 games. And as much as I've slated the lad, I can't knock him for scoring. And when you've got a striker that's scoring, which is something we've been crying out for so much, I'd like to see Grigg from the off go up top with Charlie White to try and cause problems. Maguire tucking him behind them as well with his little bit of creativity. And he does have his moments of magic, of course, Chris Maguire. I think that could be a pretty lethal lineup if we're really up to it. But now on to my score predictions. It's difficult because now that I've seen how fragile our backline can be when exposed, which it completely was against Pompey. But beforehand, we did look so solid at the back, and now we actually have, or we're kind of forced into using 3 actual centre-backs in Flanagan, Bailey Wright and Willis, whereas 09, he kind of was the weak link against Pompey. He never should have played there, in my opinion. But I'm going to go with a Sunderland 3-0 win. We're going to bounce back and smash it. Who's going to score the goals? I have no idea, because we looked so toothless last weekend. But hopefully, like I say, if we use that lineup, which we more than likely won't, Power will more than likely start. White will probably be up top by himself. Yeah, I think if we get our confidence back up and we just attack this game, we could come away with quite a nice win, and it would regain confidence in the players and the fans, because of course against Pompey they've become our rivals somewhat, or a rival kind of in League One over the last couple of seasons, and to lose a game like that and in the manner we did, it's going to piss people off. I was furious. I was absolutely furious while sat at work, which probably wasn't the right time to watch the game, and I probably shouldn't have watched it on my phone, but yeah, I was livid. I was absolutely livid. But like I say, 3-0, hopefully we can just bounce back, mark that off and chalk off the Pompey game as a blip, and just plod along and hopefully pick up 3 points. So You guys let me know in the comments down below what you think, what would be your preferred 11, and what do you think the score is going to be come the end of the Rochdale vs Sunderland game. But if you have enjoyed this video, please hit the like button for me. It'd be massively, massively appreciated. And subscribe to the channel if you're not already to become a fully fledged member of the Sassy Army. But for now, you take care and stay jamming.